You saw the beaver. Or it was a muskrat. I'm pretty sure it was the beaver. He lives down here. He remembers me calling him. When I did it, he swam right over here. And whoop, went under the water. I thought he was going to pop up right there. I'm back at my old place. The old penthouse area. My old roommate hurt her foot walking to the door the other day. So she hasn't been to the store. She's running out of coffee. She's running out tomorrow morning, so I brought her a tin today. And I came early enough so that I could go for a walk, because I've been wanting to come for a walk here, see if I run into the wolf, my buddy. And I think it's kind of early for him, because every time I've seen him, and the most active he was in wintertime. And it's a gray, dire wolf, believe it or not. They're extinct, supposedly. Well, they just killed one down in Oklahoma or something. And they kept the pictures hidden and then finally released the pictures. Confirmed it was a real killing. Shows the hunter holding up his paws, and his paws are bigger than his hands. Just like the one when I saw. That was the first thing I saw, was his paws. And then the following spring, I ran into a girl with a huge husky. And it was a husky wolf, you could tell, right? And I asked her, is he half wolf? And she said, I don't know. But a lot of times when you have wolf dog owners, they just play dumb because it's illegal. So once I seen him and seen the size of his paws, I even told her, I said, oh, I thought this guy was a wolf. I've been following his paws all winter. And she's like, oh, no. Yeah, I just moved in last spring. So she was there in the spring, summer, and winter. So I'll show you where I met him. And I thought, like, I shouldn't really give the exact spot, so I'm not going to say where this is exactly, but because maybe people out there know about this and they're hunting them. And the other things I've seen here, like right here in this area. So I was just chilling on the bench like this. I howled at him when I first came in the bush. Went for my walk, got my coffee, came back. And when I'm back here, it's normally like about 3 hours later, right? So he howled across there. He was across the river. And when I came back, like, he knows my routine. He's been checking me out for like 2 winters, probably 3 winters. I just caught on after the first winter when I saw his paws. So yeah, he was chilling out on this tree line. Right? And I let out a howl to see if he'd howl, because they normally does just before I'm going home. Well, my old spot. And that's what all the animals do, man. When they become your buddies, when you get into the forest, they vocalize, or they'll come to you. And then when you leave, they do the same thing. It's like them saying hi and bye kind of thing. Eh? So anyways, I'm just sitting here chilling out, and I hear him rustling right in here, right in the bush. And he comes walking out of this tree line. Comes right behind here. He's walking like this close behind me. Okay? This is only like 2-3 feet from the bench, right? Like I can touch it. So he walked like this, and when his head was sticking out here, that's when I turned my head, because I was looking at his butt. I had my head turned this way, this side of the bench. And I watched him come out, and I said, hey, buddy. And I just said, it's okay, as he kept walking. And then as he walked past, it wasn't his tail was like out here, right? So like just when his butt was like about a few inches before going past out of my view. Just when his butt end, his round butt, was just about to go. That's when I turned my head, but his head was already sticking out the other side of the bench. His head and shoulders was already sticking out while his butt was right there. There's no wolf that is 6 feet long, let alone add another few inches on either side, not counting his tail. All right. And then I stood up, and then he walked down here, but she, because it was a she, I didn't see a hammer on him. And when I went like this and said, it's okay, and got sideways, she's here, right? And I'm over here, but it's a little further, so I pointed there, but she's actually like right here. I could see her totally sideways. Well, it was more like here, because she walked away from the bench and then started heading down. There's a little path like directly behind the bench that goes down in the water. So when I stepped out here, she was already heading sideways, and I could see how skinny she was. She's like totally skinny, man, like way too skinny for a long wolf like that. And I'm thinking, there's no way this wolf is this long. This thing is 3 feet or 6 feet at least. It has to be. From the middle of here to there is 3 feet, and from there is 3 feet. From the tip of my arms, yeah, I can't stretch it out. So from tip to tip, plus I blew up my shoulder. From tip to tip of your fingers is your height. And I'm almost 6 feet, and it's like 2 inches short, so it's 6 feet. So yeah, that's the dire wolf story. It's amazing, man. I was so blessed to see her. Even if it was some normal gray wolf that ended up down here in southern Ontario and just happened to be all stretched out like that. Maybe it got in an accident or something, broke its spine, and who knows, right? I came up with a whole bunch of excuses, man, but there's no excuses. It's a perfectly healthy wolf. It's been hanging around, following me, howling and everything, for at least 2 years with me. Because I was here for a year before I seen her. So there's nothing wrong with her. She's fine. And then when I moved out of here, if you just walk up this path to the very end of it almost, or actually it's the street. There's a street over there, Royal York, or King. What's it called? Kingsway. You walk up to the very end of the Kingsway, and that's where my place was before. Where the drunk, violent guy was picking fights with me because he didn't believe I was sick. Fucking idiot. Excuse my language. And that was a great place too, man. A great big huge mansion in the basement. My room wasn't like too big, but it was great. And it was a good area. But yeah, anyways. So it's the same distance as walking here. Like 20 minutes on the path. The street's just up there. You're not out of the way of this path. And then that's when I saw a manned wolf. And there's only like 26,000 left in the world. Excuse me. They are going extinct. And it's called a manned wolf. I looked at it coming down, and it looked like a friggin' greyhound. Like one of those greyhound racing dogs, because it had really, really tall legs. Excuse me. So it was like from that tree to about here, away from me. I went, hey, buddy, because he was just strolling down the sidewalk, walking right towards me with no care in the world, smile on his face. I went, hey, buddy. And that's when you walked around, went up onto the lawn. And that's when I seen him. I go, what the frick? That's not a Great Dane or whatever you call them. I just forgot. I'm having a brain fart. And I'm thinking, what the heck? And I just went, arr, and let out a little grunt like that. And he stopped and looked at me. And that's what I could see him. He had like black feet, black fur on his feet. Total red. It looked like a red fox with deer legs and black feet. Exactly what it looked like. It looked like a fox mated with a deer. And I'm going, what the heck, man? I'm looking at it, and I'm going, it has a fox body. It looks like a dog. It totally has a fox head. And it's got freaking deer legs, man. It's like 3 feet too high. It should be way down on the ground. What's going on? So as soon as I got home, I Googled fox deer. Or fox deer hybrid or whatever it was. And then it came up. It showed it. Maned wolf. And this was just before we got our major winter storm last year. That big storm that took out Toronto. Lasted 3 days, I think. So those things are from South America. They're not used to cold climates, I thought. But then after I Googled it some more, I found out, like weeks later, I found out that they are okay in cold climates. Some of them in South America are found in the cold areas up in the hills where snow is, or mountainy areas. So it's like, all right, I guess you might have survived. But there's no way I could have seen that thing unless it was someone's pet, and they just happened to let it go. Or it broke out and was just going for a stroll. Because I can't see someone just letting their exotic animal go. So it probably broke out of the house and it was just going down for a stroll down the sidewalk. Right behind my house on the way to the grocery store. And this wasn't a path. This was a sidewalk where all the houses are, right? So yeah, I phoned everybody trying to find out who owned it. Phoned zoos, phoned rescue places, phoned exotic animal places. Even some down in the States, thinking maybe it made its way up here. Nobody had lost it. And then last ditch effort, I phoned the city just asking if anyone reported seeing a fox deer. I played stupid. I didn't say maned wolf. And he goes, a fox deer? Right, of course, like they're gonna be like, huh? What are you talking about? So by the end of the conversation, I told them, look, man, I think it might be someone's pet that escaped or escaped from the airport on cargo. But in my gut, I knew this thing was totally calm. There's no way it escaped from the airport. The airport was probably like a 15-minute run to a dog away from me. 15 minutes if it's running. There's something in the bush here. So yeah, if it escaped from a cargo shipment on the way to South America or somewhere, like, it would be totally freaked out. And it would be like, what the heck's going on, man? I'm like, used to warm weather and it's like minus friggin' 10, right? Minus 15 or whatever it was. So it would be panicky. It wouldn't just be like strolling along like a happy dog that just got out. Like I've seen dogs that have run away and got out of the yard, right? They got that happy little look and they got that stroll, like they're all happy and, they pulled it off, right? You can see it in their face and feel it in their stride. See it in their language, their body language. It's like, hey, I did it. I'm out my own. Yay. So this was definitely not that case. It was just something that just took off on its own, It wasn't something escaped from the airport. There's no way. So I hope whoever it was it knew to go back to its own place. I mean, these are wolves. They're not like dogs, so they can probably smell a lot better than a dog. A maned wolf. Google it. M-A-N-E-D, wolf. Maned wolf. And I'm in Toronto. Like in the middle of Toronto. Well, not even the outskirts. This is like a Etobicoke area. East Etobicoke, I guess. So to see that maned wolf, and then see the dire wolf, because that's exactly what it was, man. There's no other way to explain it. And it was a little bigger than the one that they shot. The one they shot looked like dark brown, black. And then the big-ass beaver that I saw right in here. But just up there about not even a 5-minute walk. A jogger was jogging by. I'm walking by, like going this way, and I just look over at the right second, and I see a huge wake, like a boat going up. And I'm thinking, what the freak is making that wake? And then I see it. I'm like, that's one big ass beaver head. So I'm watching him. And I kept walking, and then right up there's a little tiny hill you go up, and then it has a handrail that gets you closer to the water. So that's where I stopped, and I could see him clearly, right? I'm thinking, wow, look at the size of that. And then some dude went jogging by with his baby. You guys might have heard this story, some of you guys that watch my vids. And I just said to him, hey, man, look. And he looks and he's like, is that a bear? And I'm like, no, man, it's a beaver. He goes, it can't be. It's a baby bear. And then he was going up off the bank on the other side. And you could see this big flat. And it wasn't as flat as a beaver tail. It was flat, but it had some roundness to it on the very top. And you could see the sun shining on it. And it had a silver tail that had fur on it. So when I went home, it took me a while to find it. I was like punching in silver-tailed beaver, and beaver looks like bear, and a whole bunch of stuff. And then finally, I seen it. It's a prehistoric bear. Has a silver tail that had fur on it. And they're supposedly prehistoric, long past extinct. And yet I seen it, and it was my recorder was going, so you can hear the guy saying, "No, looks like a bear. Looks like a bear." And he's like, "Oh, thanks." And he even showed his kid, or I think you hear me saying, "Hey, show the little guy." He's going, look, see him? See the bear? See the beaver? It was cool. I'm gonna save some juice because they're running into my bud. All right. God bless you. Much love.